All right, everybody, today is Tuesday, March 23rd. We're going to do a little bit more review on factoring, a little bit of what we learned about yesterday. So first things first, here's your warm-up. Go ahead and pause the video and try this warm-up out. So what we learned yesterday was to check to see if there's a greatest common factor between the two terms that you have. Well, I have the number 4 here. 1 times 4 and 2 times 2 are the factors. For 16, 4 is one of the factors, meaning 4 is the greatest common factor constant-wise. Well, the 4 has 2 x's, the 16 has 1 x. So that means they also share an x in common. So when I take a 4x out of both of them, I'm left with an x in front, and then 16x divided by 4x is 4. This cannot be factored anymore, what's inside the parentheses, meaning that's my final answer. What we're going to look at in this video is when to use GCF and when not to. All right, so looking at these two examples here, go ahead and start thinking about which one would you use GCF, which one would you not? All right, so when I'm looking at both of these examples, I'm looking at, well, do all 3 terms in each of these examples have a common factor? I'm going to do the same thing that I've done on all other problems with this. I'm going to start with the very first term, name its factors. The factors of 8 are 1 times 8, 2 times 4, and that's it. For 28, well, 8 is not a factor of 28. 4 is a factor of 28. 2 is a factor of 28, and 1 is a factor of 28. All right, so next what we want to check to see is 60. Does 60 have any of those 3 factors? So in my calculator, I'll do 60 divided by 4 to start, and 4 times 15 equals 60, so 4 is my greatest common factor. 4 can be divided out of all 3 of these. All right, same idea for the next one is, well, does it have a greatest common factor? Well, again, we do the same thing. 1 times 8, 2 times 4. Well, 15, 8, 4, 8 is not a factor of 15, 4 is not a factor of 15, 2 is not a factor of 15. Only 1 is a factor, which means this does not have a greatest common factor. It is just a normal factoring problem. Nothing will need to be divided out at the beginning on this one. So notice, no matter which problem I did the same steps just to check to make sure I was doing it correctly. All right, let's go ahead and finish both of these problems out. Let's start with the one on the left, where I had to divide by 4 at the start. So I get 4 parentheses, 8x squared divided by 4 is 2x squared. Negative 28 divided by 4 is negative 7x, and negative 60 divided by 4, we said earlier, is negative 15. So now let's go ahead, let's put everything in our box, which is 2x squared minus 7x minus 15. Create my MA chart. 2 times negative 15 is negative 30, and then I get a negative 7 on the right-hand side. Factors of 30, 1 times 30, that won't work. 2 times 15, that won't work. 3 times 10, that will work. Let's see, if a 3 is negative, that'll give me a positive 7, so we don't want that. Let's try 3 and negative 10. That will work to create a negative 7. So 3x and negative 10x are my 2 factors that go into this diagonal. All right, up top, I'm going to get an x here, and I'm going to get a 2x here. 2x times negative 5 gives me negative 10x. X times positive 3 gives me positive 3x, and 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. So final answer is 4, because again, we can't forget about our GCF in our final answer. 2x plus 3 and x minus 5. All right, let's go ahead on back to this previous one. Why don't you pause the video and see if you can get this one on your own. All right, hopefully you guys got this already on your own. Let's see if you did it correctly. So, put my box together. 8x squared minus 2 and minus 15x. On my m side, I'm going to get negative 16. On my a side, I'm going to get negative 15. So what multiplies give me 16? That would be 16 times 1. Well, if I do make one of those negative, I should be able to get 15. If 16 is negative, that does give me negative 15. So that's the pair that I want. Negative 16x and 1x. GCF of 8x squared and 16x is an 8x. 8x times 1x is 8x squared. 1x times 1 is 1x. 8x times negative 2 is negative 16x. And negative 2 times positive 1 is negative 2. So final answer on this one, we don't have a GCF, so we can just write it normally, like we were doing before spring break. X minus 2, 8x plus 1. All right, we got time for a few more. All right, here's 2 more. Go ahead and start working them out. All right, first step is check to see if there's a GCF. On this first one on the left, the 10, factors of 10 are 1 times 10 and 2 times 5. Well, for 27, 10 doesn't work, 5 doesn't work, 2 doesn't work. Only one that works is 1, so there is no GCF on this problem. So I can just go straight to my box. On the one on the right, I have 3x squared for the first term. Factors of 3 are 1 times 3. Well, 3 is a factor of 24, and 3 is a factor of 48. So that means 3 is the greatest common factor, and we can divide 3 out of all 3 of these. So I get 3x squared minus 8x plus 16. And again, now at this point, we can go ahead and fill in our boxes. So go ahead, if you haven't already, go ahead and start filling in your boxes. All right, guys, so I've went ahead, I have filled in my boxes. I used my t-shirt to get the insides. Now I need to go ahead and get my outsides. So I'm going to start with this problem here on the left. I have 10x squared and I have minus 2x. I'm getting my greatest common factor between those, which is a 2x. Well, 2x times 5x is what gives me 10x squared. 5x times negative 5 is what gives me negative 25x. 2x times negative 1 is what gives me negative 2x. And negative 5 times negative 1 is positive 5. All right, now that I have my outsides, I can go ahead and write my final answer. You need to make sure that you are writing that final answer just as you see me doing here. 2x minus 5, and there's our factored form and our final answer. All right, let's go ahead and finish up this one here on the right. So, looking at this first column here, I got x squared and minus 4x. Greatest common factor is x. X times x is what gives me x squared. X times negative 4 is what gives me negative 4x. X times negative 4 again is what gives me negative 4x. And negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. So final answer on this one, don't forget about your GCF, is 3x minus 4 times x minus 4 can also be written as 3x minus 4 squared as well. All right, guys, that's it.